Alright, what's up YouTube? We're back with a video. We got this troll background again. We're doing some videos like this, and my hatred for ace grading. So I want to give my hatred for ace grading, but there's a reason why I'm doing this. There's right. Okay, this video is going to get disliked a fucking million times because there's so many bum boys that literally want Randolph to bend them over and bum them, right? Because that's how much of like a fanboy they are of this guy, and he's their god, and he's the new Jesus Christ, right? In the grading space, this is what these people look at him like, right? So anyway, I had a few YouTube comments. I'm going to give you the names of the people that commented on YouTube. So Accusations is one guy who commented. John is another guy who commented about ace grading, and this other guy, Actions, turned around and said that he unsubscribed from someone's channel because he was insulting the viewers of basically who grade with PSA, basically calling them stupid. You should grade your modern cards with A's because you get a fancy label, and then this and that, right? So let me just get into. I'm going to get into a few things because a lot of people are going to go, "Oh, you're just a hater. You're broke. Blah blah." It's none of them variables. None of them variables at all, right? So anyway, he was insulting his viewers and intelligence, basically saying they're stupid for grading with PSA and just random shit. And it's like this is definitely seems to me like he's paying as many fucking YouTubers. Like, I'm going to get into this cult thing as well, right? Because these guys are a cult. A lot of them are a cult, right? I want to make this. And then I basically put, he basically commented to me and he said, someone was saying, this is another guy, obviously he's not mentioning his channel, but was saying new cards and older cards, basically to grade newer cards with PSA. Right, listen. Randolph Pokemon knows of me, knows of my channel, yeah, because he had my eBay items on his video. He logged out of his eBay, right, to be able to not go on the recently viewed items because they all pop up under a search bar, literally on eBay. When you go on there, it says like recently viewed items, and they pop up, right? So he literally went on eBay, logged out. This is before he had ace grading, was watching my videos, mentioned what I was saying, and I was like, being like just a Randy Bob YouTuber, like, who literally doesn't give a shit about views, don't give a shit about money, from YouTube. Like, you make more money, right? People think that YouTube pays a lot of money, right? For you guys that believe that YouTube is paying millions and millions of dollars or whatever it is, this is why I said if I was monetized, I would show the transparency of what every video made to show that, look, this is how much YouTube pays. If you think that this is amazing and you think this is, going to improve your lifestyle by 90 to 100%, right? Where you can open a booster box and the video pays for it every time. Well, you're going to need to get to Leon Hot Size to be able to do that, right? A lot of these people are making money through YouTube, either through sales, marketing, partnerships, eBay ad revenue, it's eBay partner program. TCA Gaming was one of these guys who said, the YouTube ad revenue sucks, and this was like 79k I think he had at the time, or 60. I think it was like 67k followers when he had it, and he was on about everyone should jump on the eBay partner program, right? And then you have to apply for that and then get accepted. So anyway, the reason why I don't like ace grading, I'm going to get into every fucking reason why I don't like these guys, because these literally, right, for someone to watch my videos and then take my ideas off my channel and then literally pump them on your 5-star channel when mine's like a 1-star channel, right? So you take my ideas, you put them into a company, then you pretend that, okay, I'm going to get into another thing that I obviously, right, my friend a long time ago said, my man's watching your videos, he's literally mentioning shit you was mentioning. Obviously, when my YouTube only had like 200, 300 subscribers, right, there was a time where, he was watching my videos, he mentioned something on his channel, my eBay was popping up on his shit, he took my ideas of custom labels, what I was going to do. I was basically going to like match the card and match the label, and I was explaining on how you do it on one of my older videos. Like, I've got fucking so many old videos, you know, a lot of them are unlisted. But anyway, like, this guy literally created ace grading. He went round to as many, you know, YouTubers or whatever, and basically pumped the company, right? Saying like, yo, do a video, this is 100% right. Like, for example, before we get into that, right, even the vending videos. I was doing vending videos on YouTube about the Bulbasaur, and the Bulbasaur, and this was like a year ago, right? So a year and a half ago, if you go through my channel and go find the Bulbasaur videos, right? So I was watching them as like a research purpose video, and then, okay, Randolph Pokemon starts doing these fucking vending videos, and then all of a sudden he's dumping these, you know, ace graded cards in America, and then he's dumping all the modern stuff that we was literally seeing on the videos on my channel, right? So imagine that, right? So where did he get the idea from just to go vending in these videos, right? You know, I can't see who's like privately subscribed to my channel, and there's a lot more privately subscribed or unsubscribed. 50% of my viewers are unsubscribed. So you know that people that are literally logging on my videos every day to watch my channel and type me in on the search bar, they are literally unsubscribed. So imagine, people are arguing that, you know, you're shit and you should grade your cards with ace and not PSA, because you should grade your old cards with PSA and your new cards with you know, ace. This is the fucking narrative that these guys are pushing, right? And then the cool is there's associated bunch of Pokemon YouTubers that literally sit in a cult with each other, and they literally pump each other's content, and they peg off each other, and they're always at the events together, they're always doing this together, and it's this certain group of people, right? Now, to be in that type of group of people, right, what you got to have, 1 million in assets? Do you know what I mean? 10 million in assets? What you got to be in to be that certain group? What's their, you know, group, point of entry, right? Because I know a lot of them, yeah, you can search net worths and see what people are worth and how much assets, cash, and everything they've got, right? You know, everyone, the people that are hidden in the world, you know, they pay to keep themselves off that shit, right? But, you know, you can look up somebody's name, see what they own, blah de blah, right? And it's a plain simple thing. So, you know, these guys are cool. Like, even YouTubers, right? YouTubers like Matt Cully, right? Oh, guys, I'm breaking all my PSA slabs and I'm going to turn them into ace because there's this narrative. You know, the one thing that these guys always say, and I've noticed for a fact, 100%, that these guys, right? These guys always say the same thing regarding cards. Let's say we take this card and you're going to grade this card ace grading. Let's say they go, oh guys, but this is for my personal collection. I have no intention of selling this card and I will never sell this card, but here I am grading like 80 fucking items and yeah, they're all for my personal collection and I'm never going to sell it and I don't care what the value is. Come on, like, stop bullshitting. Like, stop bullshitting. This, you hear this fucking line, you know these guys are bullshitting, right? Like, yeah, I grade cards for financial gain. Some cards I don't grade for financial gain. You know, some cards I, you know, keep, right? Some I don't sell. So, you know, if I was to, like, basically grade this War Turtle, right? I like the War Turtle art from Pokemon Go. I think it's sick, right? Basically, you know, here's a, like, kind of a look at this card, right? Now, let's say you start grading this card, right? I grade this card and I get a 10. I'll keep this one, but do I want this to be, right, you know, like I'm going to say an example, like, you know, when you focus on doing something in your life, let's say, you know, you focus on, you know, Pokemon cards. Let's say you focus on Pokemon cards, you do Pokemon content, you do this, right? You know, when you start to try and do all these little things on the side, like you try doing this, try doing that, try and do a bit of video of this and a bit of video for that, and you, like, get sidetracked, right? And then you think, oh, why didn't I just focus on that in the first place? This is my aspect to when it comes to PSA and, like, all these grading companies, right? So, like, let's say Tag. Tag grading has a problem with their slabs being too weak and they literally snap, right? You can crack them and break the cards. Now, you know, someone who has a very high value net worth was doing videos privately that Tag was going to be, you know, he was saying that someone who has literally got like 10 to 15 million in assets, right? If not, it is like a cash millionaire as well. Like, you know, a lot of people aren't cash millionaires. Everyone's got it in assets. And this is a high value guy. I'm not going to mention him on the channel, or you know, I'm not really bothered. Like, because people that are private, they like to stay private. But they were making videos about Tag being like the next best top grading service, because they were like, the AI scanner defeats the point of the human eye. So the human eye, where you know the human eye is good, right? But if you look at this card and you say, right, this card is a 10, and you grade it a 10, and then one guy is having a bad day and he goes, oh, a 9, or you don't really know what he's doing, like trying to train a new employee, it doesn't kind of work, right? You need, in some aspect or way, you need like to have it overlooked by a machine. Or if you agree that it's a 9, you know, or a 10, then you would say, yeah, it's a 10. You can tell it's a 10. The centering's bang on. You know, most of the time you don't need that. But when it comes to like, say, an old card, or you're looking for like, you know, surface problems, if you can't see it with a naked eye, then really it shouldn't be defined that it shouldn't be that card, right? Or that grade. So the aspect of PSA, you know, oh, you're stupid for grading your cards for PSA. Now, why is that? Like, how can anybody turn around who's a Randolph pump and dumper, you know, ace slabs, and pumping them and dumping them on the market? Even like, there was a Trident cards doing eBay live, right? And Trident cards was, you know, removing comments off the live stream when people were putting, oh, look, it's Andrew's new boyfriend, you know, Randolph Pokemon, yeah? Right, so his name's Andrew, right? And he's like, oh, but yeah, he's a new boyfriend, right? So, you know, he's obviously going around to every YouTuber possible in the UK, and he's trying to pump ace cards on the public. That's what he's trying to do. And then he's trying to convince all these people to make this, you know, specific video, a line of, you know, I'm going to give you the pump and dump, you're going to come and grade your cards for free with me for life after, you know, making a video for me, and we're going to basically pump these cards all over, and we're going to basically, right, listen, you ain't going anywhere, right? You aren't taking the American market unless you get out of the UK and you go fucking fly to America, and you go set up home in America, and you go grade your ace labels there, right? Then let the Americans decide on who fucking grading company do they want. If they still grade with PSA, then you know your company was, you know, basically would have never existed if PSA was just in the UK. But the UK market is not big enough for grading, because this country is designed to keep the public poor, yeah? So people aren't going to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on grading every week. The people that are only going to do that are going to be the sellers, yeah? The people that can afford to, you know, sell, make money, profit off the cards, and then they're going to keep grading and selling. But nah, okay. Then everybody just starts doing it, and all these slabs just sit on eBay, and they're all junk, they're all crap, right? So it's like, for example, AGS never approached me to do a submission with them, and AI grading, how are you going to argue with a machine? You can't argue with a machine, right? The machine determines the card, they look at the card, they say, right, yo, this isn't a scan, you know, they've got, you know, a QR code on the back, you can scan it, you can look at what the fucking grade is, like 9, 10, 10, 10, and that's it. To have all these fancy labels, this is literally their marketing scheme, yeah? Oh, but you can have the card look like the label. Well, I'm not being funny, but what are you buying Pokemon cards for? You're buying Pokemon cards to look at the art of the Pokemon card. The Pokemon card is, you know, a card that you look at, right? You look at the artwork. You look at the artwork, you're not buying a slab based on the overall extended art of the card. Right, you're not buying a slab on basing that. You're buying a slab based on, you know, is the card a 10? Is it perfect condition? Is it, you know, something you like? Do you like the card? You know, it's like for example, this card. This card doesn't exist as a PSA 10, right? It, you know, it doesn't exist. It, you know, if you check the cert number if you want. Yeah, go look it. You know, this is the Cosmo foil sizzle that come out of a promo box in like 2012, right? So for example, let's just say, you know, you buy this card, it's not a 10, you like the card, this is the reason you buy it. You like it because you like the card. You don't just want it because, oh, it has a label that looks like the card. That's not the point of buying Pokemon or even grading the cards for, right? So it baffles me that these YouTubers all sit there and they're going, oh, this is not a sponsored video and this is not this, and you know, we're going to crack all our PSA cards and we're going to grade it with it. Just because some whack jobs, you know, from Graded Gem like Base Set Tom and Connor decided that, you know, oh, we're going to have a disagreement with PSA because they were literally sending in thousands of thousands. Like, look, one guy graded, right? One guy got a block, right? I was watching one of their videos once and I was like, I was seeing what people was grading and they were sending in. And I was like, this is why the reason why they fucking collapsed, right? So, a guy got a slab like this. And I mean a slab. We're talking like this, right? This is all top-loaded cards, right? So, he got one of these, and he literally, there was all first edition Geodude, and there was literally all, you know, 80 copies of them, and he was grading, you know, and he was grading these with PSA, right? And then PSA was like, oh, you know, we're gonna have to honour the pricing because these guys graded before we raised the price. And then they realised that they got thousands of cards, and Graded Gem lost cards from people's submissions and stuff back from PSA, right? And, you know, they had to pay like compensation out due to like lost stuff. And, you know, everyone who knew them back then, there was like, yo, these guys are fucking losing people's stuff, losing money. They had to pay like insurance out, and, you know, they had to pay, I think Connor had to sell his personal cards just to pay the people because he didn't have the money to give back from the lost cards at PSA, and, you know, some mad scandal going on. And then man, it's such a fucking shady company. Like, this guy is like literally got this cult and army of the people, and he's like, oh yeah, make sure you grade with me, guys, make sure you grade with me, your cards will be safe, and, you know, and then he's like, oh yeah, the cards will be safe, and then his fucking site's getting robbed. Like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Like, and then there's people, and he's like, oh, sorry guys, this is the break, this was this and this, and it's all a marketing gimmick. It's literally all a marketing gimmick. It's like a thing to where everyone says, oh, we feel sorry for you, Andrew, please send us more cards, and, you know, everyone's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna send you more cards to make sure, like, look, this guy's a millionaire, like, you know what I mean? And he doesn't need your money. Like, if he's a millionaire and he's an asset millionaire or whatever, or he's a cash millionaire, then why does he need your money? You know, this is like these people even doing, like, you know, people that say they know everything in the stock market, and they're like, oh yeah, you got to pay us to join the course to do the stock market, and, you know, like, look, yo, you know, there's a guy on YouTube, right? And I'll give this guy props because I only watched like 3 or 4 of his videos, and I think he's called like Pokemon Steven, I think. He's in Australia, and he's like, why would I charge you for something that, you know, why would I charge you for this? Like, and, you know, he was saying on his videos, like, why would he charge his viewers to watch his YouTube videos, or like doing private Patreons? And there's people doing that. Like, there's people like pretending like, oh yeah, we know it all, and they're sending you this course and you're paying them like $30-40 a month, and they're like doing this shady shit. Okay, I get it, it's a business, right? You're doing Pokemon as a business, right? But, you know, when you're a millionaire, you don't need other people's money. You're already rich, yeah? You don't matter if you hit 1 million, yo, you're a millionaire. You're a poor millionaire. All right, what do you want? Do you want 100 million, no time with the kids, no wife, right? What do you want? What do you want out of life? Do you want a mega yacht, a super yacht? You know, do you want to stay in the middle of the ocean? You got no food on it. What do you want in life, right? There's a point of being content, right? Do you want to be, you know, the best? Does he want Ace? What does he want to do? Does he want to pump Ace to where Ace is like this multi-mega star, multinational, you know, a grading base in every country? Is that what he wants to do until he's like happy, and then he's gonna like sell the company and sell his shares, and, you know, and then he's like mega rich and he leaves Pokemon? What is that his aim in life? Like, what the fuck is this guy's financial goal? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. Like, I really don't get it. Like, oh, you like Pokemon? Do you even like Pokemon, or do you just like paper notes? Yeah? Do you just like paper notes that's printed from the fucking Bank of England? You just love these, right? You love these. That's what he loves. He loves these fucking pretty pictures, Ponzi scheme money, basically, what he does. Yeah, buy Bitcoin, right? Yo, this is going to be the end of the video. kind of explain like they're just the shady shit behind like this is how they are. You know, everyone is going to dislike the video anyway. This is going to be one of the ones that will be the most disliked, most haters. You know, Matt Cully will be in the comments like, oh guys, he didn't pay me to do a video. Yes, he did, man. Shut the fuck up, you nonce. Like, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.